What does the fox say?
I guess. Well, welcome back to the SighSquadPod.
Oh, you're recording. Okay.
Yeah, I've been recording for the past minute. So, did any of you watch Hell in a Cell this weekend?
No.
Why would I watch that bullshit?
You guys were talking about how it was cold.
What day was Hell in a Cell on?
It was Sunday night.
Yesterday.
Sunday night.
No, I went into the future, knew it was going to be bad, so I wasn't going to watch it.
Oh, well, I did not.
You could have told us that.
Oh, you should have told the whole wrestling community.
I mean,
I thought I did.
I didn't even watch football Sunday.
Oh no, I told Ben, and Ben was supposed to pass it on. Damn it, Ben.
What? What I do?
Exactly.
well, you guys missed a real barn burner at Hell in a Cell.
Mm-hmm.
The show opened up with Sasha Banks versus Becky Lynch, and that was the best the show got. It just went downhill from there. Yeah, I love Becky Lynch too. She's still the Raw Women's Champion. It was a great match for Hell in a Cell match, especially for the second ever women's Hell in a Cell match. They definitely delivered. And I don't know, I feel like with the women's matches being like Last Man Standing, Hell in a Cell, and all that, I think they need to do all this extra stuff. Like they're guillotining each other on the top of like chairs in the middle of a cage or whatever. Like they're going the extra mile that they don't need to. But I think it makes it look so much better than what the men's Hell in a Cell match was. And so that was that. The Kabuki Warriors are the new women's tag team champions of the world.
Of the world? Wait.
Of the world. Yeah.
Do they compete other people from other parts of the world?
Well, they're both from Japan, so.
But they didn't. If they only competed against like
they compete in all of WWE.
All WWE.
But WWE determines the whole world.
Well, WWE is worldwide. They have people in India. They have people in the UK. They have people.
It's the WWE.
Do they have people in Czechoslovakia?
Probably from Czechoslovakia. But
got me sold.
Exactly.
Wait. Nepal?
That's in India.
That's not in India. It's India adjacent.
Well, yeah, but
same thing. But anyways, the Hell in a Cell was something. The ending of the show was very, very disappointing. Seth Rollins did over 30 curb stomps, and that didn't stop the match. But you beat him with a chair, that doesn't stop the match. You put a ladder on him and a chair on him, and curb stomp him, that doesn't stop the match. You hit him with a toolbox, that doesn't stop the match. You go and grab a little sledgehammer, and that will stop the match for you.
A sledgehammer?
Oh,
of all things,
logic.
The sledgehammer is what stopped the match.
Oh, Lord.
So, if you weren't watching, the stretcher then came in, all the medical people, the cage rose, they came. Seth Rollins was like, nope, that's not enough. Seth Rollins went over there. Then he got mandible clawed, which is basically your forceful pressure point, and it basically like puts you to sleep. But in real life, right? Not like WWE style. But and then Seth Rollins choke up blood, and fans were chanting, "Restart the match." Bullshit. We want refunds and AEW.
I love that.
Which is not. And then after the match, so that was the end of the event. People stayed in San Jose, whatever building they were in, and were chanting that they wanted refunds for an hour after the show was over. After everything was getting taken down, they were still chanting they wanted refunds, which kind of shows that WWE didn't care about Hell in a Cell at all. But I think there's a reason for it, because they just want to restart, and they were like, oh, well, we have to have this pay-per-view. We already announced it. And they don't want Bray Wyatt to be the champion yet, and they don't want Seth Rollins to lose the championship. So I guess that's what you do. No, it would have made more sense, right, if Seth Rollins was the one laying there and couldn't move, and they stopped it.
Yeah.
Seth Rollins kept it, but no, that's not what happened.
That's it. I feel like it wouldn't have been as bad if that was the case, because then that still makes Bray look strong.
Mm-hmm.
You know, where it's like, oh no, we have to stop the match. Which, because like,
wait, did he hit him with a fucking sledgehammer?
No, they stopped the match, so he didn't.
Yeah.
He hit him with a toolbox and a chair and a ladder.
Imagine walking to work and like, hey, I think this week you're gonna get hit in the head with a sledgehammer.
Cool.
Yeah.
How you feel about that?
Sounds good.
Why don't we cancel it right before that happens?
All right,
okay.
fine. But the toolbox. The toolbox, the ladder, the chair.
Yeah.
We're
harder, Daddy.
Oh.
Okay, well,
that's
Hell in a Cell was definitely something, but something I'm looking forward to is the WWE draft this Friday, and then next Monday on Fox on SmackDown, and then on the USA Network on Raw.
I have a question.
Yes.
Do analysts? No, not analysts.
Analysts.
Anthony.
Do analysts think that Ben is going to go number 1?
They do not, actually. They've heard Ben trash talking the WWE, and they think he'll still go.
Number 2?
Not number 1, not number 2. He's not above the man. Right. And realistically, the 2 top people in that company are Seth Rollins, or the top 3, Seth Rollins, Roman Reigns,
Oh, is this like a fantasy
and
draft?
Becky Lynch.
Is this the thing that's like a fantasy draft in Madden and stuff?
Yeah, where it's everybody's up.
So, yeah, Ben will be number 3.
Hey, the Twins just hit a home run. But anyways,
No,
the Yankees hit a home run. But anyways, so I'm excited to see what happens. I think Roman Reigns will be the face of Friday Night SmackDown, and I think that they will have Becky Lynch as the face of Monday Night Raw, just because.
Becky Lynch going number 1.
Yeah. Also,
I'm going number 1.
real quick, if you watched Raw, it started off with Bobby Lashley and Lana in a bed together without clothes on.
Oh.
And that's how they started Raw this week.
Nice.
So.
What is it with Raw and making everything about sex? Or, like, not Raw, but, like, WWE.
Let's make it Raw.
And then the lights shut out. It was a great show. Raw wrestling's great. It was something. Poor Rusev.
Honestly. Like, that's what I mean, like, how awkward does that have to be? Like, like, obviously it's for the storyline, but just, like...
Watch your wife
with Bobby Lashley.
Bobby Lashley, who looks better than you to begin with.
Yeah, no kidding. Oh, no.
Maybe they're just married for the plot, though.
No, like,
they're actually married.
Rusev actually got his push, like, halted because they announced it, like, on Twitter or whatever. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
Yeah, because, like, Rusev was, like, on this big tear, and then he was just like, whoa, you ruined the storyline, so we're going to bury you to the ground.
Yeah.
Which I hate, but now we have Rusev Day.
Hey. Rusev Day.
Brendan, do you know it's Rusev Day today?
I thought it was tomorrow.
Well, it is.
Well, yeah. Not wrong.
What?
It's Rusev Day every day.
It's Rusev Day.
But with that,
Who's Rusev?
we might as well move on here to the MLB.
Yes.
Baseball.
Base.
Twins are getting beat right now.
Yeah, the Twins are really striking out.
Ooh.
I don't think he was safe.
No, he was.
Well,
at this point, it doesn't matter.
4-1 right now on the top of the ninth.
Twins are bad.
Twins are going to be the only team to get
They just don't have
to get eliminated today. Yeah.
Yeah.
All by the time. Yeah. So at the time of this podcast we recorded, all 4 divisional series games were going on. All of them could have ended today. Tampa beat Houston. Nationals and Cardinals forced Game 5s, and the Twins are going to be the only team to lose and get swept, because that is how Minnesota does their business.
Breaking news, Minnesota fans, another playoff disappointment.
Yeah, 16 straight playoff losses for Minnesota, 13 to the Yankees alone. So that is awesome. I love that.
See, it's weird. It's almost like whenever Minnesota, any sport gets to the playoffs, they suck.
Yeah.
Always the bridesmaid, never the bride.
I just think all Minnesota teams should just avoid the playoffs.
I think that's the way to do it, because you just, you stop the hope right
Vikings
there.
are trying right
They
now.
are. They do it for Kirk Cousins, so the Vikings are definitely trying. But
They literally paid to miss the playoffs.
Yeah.
$4 million, I heard.
It's a lot of money to miss the
It's a
playoffs.
lot of...
$80 million.
It's an expensive playoff miss, that is for sure.
But, oh well, I guess that's
just,
what happens.
Yeah, it's just disappointing, because like this team is like so much fun to watch all year.
Bomba Squad.
That's what I mean, like watching the Bomba Squad. They just
what if a Minnesota team got relocated to South Dakota?
Never gonna happen.
It won't, but it would just be funny. Like they're like, yeah, we just moved
The South Dakota Twins. Get rid of the Canaries. The South Dakota Twins.
We'll just trade. We'll just trade.
Yeah,
they'll get the Canaries. We'll get the Twins.
Minnesota Canaries and the
Who'd own it?
Falls Twins.
It'd be like they change it to this Denny Sanford something.
Actually, we'll trade, but they'll keep the names.
The Denny Sanford twins.
Yeah, that's what it'd be.
No. The Denny Sanford Canaries, but it'll be a Major League Baseball team.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
And
Well,
then
they could just call it the Denny Sanfords.
The Sioux Falls Denny Sanfords.
Nice.
I mean,
Book it.
I mean, if they did, they might actually.
No. They'll be the doctors.
right?
Yeah.
It'd be.
The doc. No, it's not as funny as the Denny Sanford.
No. They'll be the credit cards.
Well, that makes sense for Denny Sanford, but people wouldn't get that.
Nah.
They don't know who Denny Sanford is. Denny Sanford is the richest person in South Dakota.
No,
They
they
would
would
put his name on literally
They
every
would pick a
in Sioux Falls. It seems like.
Like the credit cards.
No, it'd be the South Dakota corn.
Probably. I wouldn't be surprised.
Your Sioux Falls corn. Let's get poppin'.
Wow.
Gee.
It's scary. Maybe they should just stay in Minnesota.
Yeah, probably for the best.
But
You don't want to see Rockets versus corn?
I don't think I do. Actually,
Rockets.
Yeah.
Actually, now that you mention it, I would love
Rockets corn?
Rockets corn.
Would that just make popcorn though?
Well, but that's something. But probably our best team in Sioux Falls is our hockey team. It's not an
They're not going to be good this year.
It's not an NHL team.
Isn't the Storm like always win the championship?
That's a Storm.
There's only 6 people in the
They
league.
were, but then the Storm lost.
No.
The Storm should hire Johnny Manziel.
Yeah.
They should hire Jay
For
Gruden.
that.
They should hire
Yeah.
I would pay good money if Johnny Manziel went to the Sioux Falls Storm.
Because we'd have the decency to let Jay Gruden sleep till 6 a.m. before we wake him up to let him know he's fired.
Yeah.
That's just our South Dakota roots.
Yeah, Jay Gruden didn't even wake up to his alarm. He woke up to a phone call saying, "Hey Jay, we need you to come to headquarters right now." Went to the practice facility, went to all there, like, "All right, Jay, you're fired."
Man,
Owner was there, GM was there, and then he just went home and.
I feel like it'd be at that point he walks in and he sees the owner, he sees the Cheetos.
I know, he probably just like.
yeah.
Both my last 2 of their cars? Shit.
As he started leaving, he probably called his brother. Wouldn't be surprised.
Can I get a job?
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, can be a coordinator.
think about it.
I will say though, I
I'll
mean,
be
John
a water
Gruden's got the
boy.
Raiders at 3-2.
That's what I'm saying.
I mean, they're not looking bad right now.
For now, anyways.
Well, I would say for now, yeah. But they just got Zay Jones. That's like the move that's going to get them a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
I think it was crazy when I woke up and I saw at one point the Raiders were going to beat the Bears 17-0. I'm like, really?
Yeah.
Like, refreshed and like, is it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the Bears take the lead, and you're just like, oh yeah, there goes the Raiders, and then, dang.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm the big upset.
But, you were talking
You were
about
talking about the Stampede.
the Stampede, which is a hockey team.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
guess what's back? The NHL.
Chell.
I love horses.
I have been ripping that Chell. Chell 20 came out a couple weeks ago. Been ripping it. Always got to rip the Chell. I rip the Chell while I'm eating some Ritz, so I rip and Ritz.
Oh,
I don't do rips,
Chell
but I rip
Ritz.
the Chell.
okay.
Okay.
Anyways,
So there is a
That
game
is-
I would specifically like to talk about for the starting week of the
Blackhawks?
NHL. It is not the Blackhawks. The Blackhawks lost to Gritty in the Fire.
the Knights,
It is not the Knights. It is not the Ben's favorite horse league
the
team.
Senators.
No. Although they did just trade for somebody with a really long name. Actually, Ben, it is the Jets.
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 So, the Jets and the New Jersey Devils faced off, and New Jersey is looking like a really strong team this year. And they came out showing that. It was 4-0 in the early parts of the second period.
Go
After Justin Coleman, or
Justin Coleman.
Sorry, Blake Coleman made this incredible one-handed goal. And I show all of you can confirm.
Is he related to Justin Coleman?
I don't think so.
Oh, that's disappointing.
But Blake Coleman scores this great goal. He uses just the flexibility of his wrist to pop it in right around the goalie.
Right.
Devils are up 4-0. I'm like, damn, Devils are really good.
Wow. They're
But
so
wait,
good.
there's more.
Oh.
It ended up going into overtime. The Jets erased a 4-goal deficit, which is crazy. But then scored in overtime to win it 5-4.
Whoa! That's crazy.
Making the Jets start off at 0-0-1.
Nice.
Because there's no ties in hockey. Overtime losses.
There's not ties?
No.
Overtime losses in hockey count as like the tie spot. But they're worth 1 point.
So
if you push every game to overtime, you'll get at least 82 points.
Does that mean we'll automatically go to the playoffs?
No.
Does it mean we'll be close?
Yes.
Oh, good.
There is some years where you could actually make the playoffs by only like if you went the whole season only losing in overtime.
Which I don't think has ever happened.
It won't. Like it realistically won't.
Right.
Because there's always going to be a team worse than.
Right. It's like saying like, oh, is a baseball team ever going to go 162-0? No, it'll never happen.
Anywho's.
I don't even know if he even punched him. I don't even know.
He did.
So hockey is back. That was really awesome. But I still feel like this doesn't put the nail in the coffin. Say that we're wrong about the Devils yet. This is first week.
It's literally the first week.
And it's also the Winnipeg Jets.
The PK Subans.
PK Subban is a
Subans. The band.
The Knights win?
Knights are looking really good. They played the Sharks their first 2 games, and they've absolutely dominated them. I think they outscored them like, I think it was like 9-2 in those 2 games.
Baby Shark. Anyways, that's pretty good.
There is a downside to. Well, I guess they also lost to the Sabres to the Devils, but we're going to talk about that.
So sad.
There is some sad news besides that. Evgeny Malkin, a long-time Pittsburgh Penguin, although we hate the Penguins.
We don't hate the Penguins.
You speak for one of us.
I per se don't like the Penguins, but
we don't hate the Penguins.
I hate the
Hate's a strong word.
Exactly.
But anyways, I don't like the Penguins. We'll go with that.
This podcast does endorse the Penguins.
We do?
They sent us stuff.
It's only because... Oh, they did?
They sent us stickers.
Oh, really?
Nice.
We should burn them.
Shout out to Pittsburgh.
Yeah, the Pirates sent us stickers too.
Shout out to the entire city of Pittsburgh.
All the Steelers sent us
The
anything.
Steelers don't like us, though.
Yeah, shout out Pat McAfee.
Yeah,
He's from Pittsburgh.
Yeah, he's Pittsburgh. Yeah, totally.
We're done talking about.
He's played Pittsburgh a couple times.
No, not quite.
Evgeny Malkin injured. RIP. He's going to be out for a while. That sucks.
Oh man, we're sorry for you.
But there was a trade that happened recently.
Whoa, a trade?
Hockey. Yeah.
Oh.
So the trade is Nemesnikov. There we go. I actually figured it out.
He must be a
Don't cut any of that. Vladislav Nemesnikov
What a horse is
traded from the Rangers to the Senators.
Oh.
A New York team
What?
traded away to a Canadian team, but
What?
a New York team traded somebody away.
What?
New York?
So, wait, was it a Canadian horse then?
No. Well, I think he's
He sounds
Russian.
more like a Russian horse. He's a Russian
Oh
horse.
shit, Russian horses are so good at hockey.
Yeah, no.
Have you seen a Russian horse on ice skates?
He's a Russian horse that went to America and is now in Canada.
But Nemesnikov, there we go.
Yeah.
I said it. He was a first-round pick in 2011.
Wow.
But I heard that there was a trade that happened in the NFL.
Zay Jones?
I told you, it's the blockbuster move of the year.
Well,
I mean, the Raiders actually
that's
just
stretching it.
Raiders traded for Trevor Davis not too long ago, and he's been playing really good for the Raiders.
See, it's crazy because I mock it, I make fun of it a little bit, but they only gave up a 5th-round draft pick for him, and that can't make your offense worse. Getting Zay Jones,
right.
It helps Derek Carr out a lot, and they're on a 2-game winning streak, so it's like.
And you could draft a receiver in the 5th round, but Zay Jones, you already know it's going to be okay.
Yeah, exactly, and that's what I mean. You can 5th-round draft. Realistically, if you were to keep that 5th-round draft pick, you'd probably get the same quality of talent. Realistically,
I think Zay Jones is a little bit then safer because obviously 5th round draft pick could be a really good or really bad.
Right.
Zay Jones, is going to be an okay receiver.
I don't really know why he must not be playing that great. They must not be as productive as they want him to be because I kind of felt like he was doing good and I was kind of surprised to see that they traded him. But
I was surprised just because I know the Bills are they're trying to catch momentum and they're playing good right now and they have that steam. I don't think trading away one of your
better receivers
is not something you want to do. Right?
Well, especially when you have a young quarterback like Josh Allen who's just trying to figure out the flow of the league and all that stuff. You don't want to take away what weapons he does have. Because Buffalo's not like loaded with a bunch of weapons. Like they have a bunch of solid football players. But like they're not loaded with all these weapons. And you have Josh Allen who's especially recovering from an injury. You want to kind of keep everyone intact. But we'll see.
I mean,
like I said, obviously,
you never know.
Right, Bills could be the Bills and fade out quick.
Seeing what they do, they jump through tables. I mean,
I want the Bills to do good.
I do. I love. Bills are one of those teams. Bills are just one of those teams where you always root for them. Like you always hope they do well. Okay, even as a Patriots fan of 20 years of dominance, you can't help but feel a little bit good at Bills are because the Bills are never going to, at least not as of now, they're not going to contend with the Patriots. But
you thought AFC Championship. Bills,
honestly, if like the Bills keep playing the way they are, and let's say Patriots just slip in a game and they're like 7-1, the Bills are 7-1.
Right?
You never know.
Who do the Bills even play next week?
We'll find out later.
We have it in our picks, don't we?
I think so.
We'll wait till we get to the pick'ems.
Is Kyle Allen overrated? Yes or no?
Kyle Allen?
Yeah, Panthers.
Slightly. He's certainly not the reason the Panthers are like winning, but I think he's doing better than what Cam Newton would do, which I think says a lot about what Cam Newton is as a quarterback.
3-0, right?
He's 3-0, but a lot of it has to do with McCaffrey. McCaffrey's playing at an MVP level, and it's ridiculous.
A little higher than an MVP level. He's like top of the league by like.
Right.
Yeah.
He's killing it in literally every offensive statistical category. Like, he's playing like he should be an MVP. Mm-hmm. And don't get me wrong, Kyle Allen's been playing great for him in replacement, but honestly, he's doing all the things right. Like, he's not turning the ball over. He's not playing inconsistent. I think he's a little overrated because he's just got a good, solid team around him, it seems. But honestly, if you're winning, they're on, what, a 3-game winning streak?
Yeah, 3-0 with him.
Yeah, keep riding with that. I wouldn't put Cam Newton in when he comes back. Just keep riding with what you have.
That's the good question. Cam Newton, I don't know when he's coming back. I don't know if it's 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks.
Yeah.
When he comes back, if Kyle Allen is still playing to his caliber and they still were winning games, do you put...
Absolutely not. No? I'm always big in the philosophy is if it ain't broke, don't fix it, and it's certainly what they're doing is not broken. They seem to be playing harder with him in there.
Yeah.
Like that Panthers defense, I mean...
they seem to care more, yeah.
They're playing better. Like, everyone is just playing better with Kyle Allen there.
I just hear a lot less whining, too.
Well, and that's just it. Like, you get a guy who actually cares about football and not about what his fashion is on his way to the stadium.
But at the same time, you have an NFL organization who's obviously paying Cam Newton as a starter and has promised him the starting role.
Well, and I totally get that, but... And this is kind of a big year for Cam because I believe his contract is up after this year, right?
It is.
See, and the thing is if you're the Carolina Panthers, you have to sit there and ask yourself, are we going to pay Cam Newton $40 million? Because I don't know you guys, but I don't pay Cam Newton $40 million.
No.
I don't even play him $30.
Honestly, I don't either. I really don't. I don't. Like, don't get me wrong, he's in a really good above average QB. He's good when he wants to be. Like, when he's on, Cam Newton's awesome.
But that's the problem.
But he's way too... Exactly. So I don't pay him $40 million, $30 million. So if you're the Panthers, it's like, well, dang, we really got nothing to lose. We don't even really have to say Kyle Allen's our guy. But if we're not going to continue riding with Cam Newton and we're winning, let's just keep Kyle Allen in there and see how far it goes.
Honestly, I think we get to the end of the year. Let's say the Panthers make it into the playoffs. They don't win very much, but maybe the playoffs. And you look at Cam Newton's contract. You could trade Cam Newton. Like, I know Cam Newton will get a penny. Cam Newton's still above average starting quarterback.
Exactly.
And then you take Kyle Allen. Even if you give him an extension, he's still a lot cheaper than Cam Newton. You take that extra money, you invest in some good pieces this offseason, and you get a decent draft pick for Cam Newton.
Yeah. Sorry, I didn't mean to kick you there. You know what would be like the perfect place for Cam Newton would be a Super Bowl caliber team that just needs it, like that needs an above average QB play. Like the Chicago Bears, for example. Not saying like Chicago would be the prime destination. They have an elite defense, but I think
that's a great example.
Well, yeah, I think great defense. One thing that's holding them back is quarterback play, because me and Brendan were talking about this off the air at Lids. With Chase Daniel. I don't think Chase Daniel is really that great. I think Chase Daniel is just a career backup. That's all he ever will be. That's why he was brought in. Don't get me wrong, he's probably one of the better backup QBs in the league.
Yeah.
But to say he fits better in the Bears system than Mitch Trubisky does, what does that say about your QB situation?
Yeah.
I just don't think it's very good. So even if you get Cam Newton, who is a former MVP, who's been in the Super Bowl, you know, regardless of what he's done since then or what he did in that Super Bowl, you know, you still get a player of that caliber. Even if you just have above quarterback average play, someone who can just give it to Tariq Cohen and someone who can give it to Allen Robinson and just give your defense a chance. That's really it. That's really all they need at this point.
I mean, I definitely see some teams that are not necessarily sure if they're good or bad, but they're to that point where a good quarterback could be that deciding factor.
They just need a QB.
Like, I know Joe Percent playing really good, but the Colts could be an option as a second quarterback, at least somebody to work with Brissett. Maybe the Titans if they're not sticking with Mariota this year,
right.
Or the Bucks. I think the Titans have potential. Derrick Henry's a good running back. I think their defense is pretty solid. Somebody like Cam Newton could take that team to a playoff caliber.
And can you imagine an RPO with Derrick Henry and Cam Newton? That would be
Plus,
ridiculous.
Cam Newton isn't like that far from Mariota, so I don't think it'd be that much of a change.
Right.
But
I think Cam Newton, if anything, has a better arm than Mariota.
The only thing with Tennessee, though, is they already have Ryan Tannehill and Marcus Mariota.
If Cam Newton's better than Ryan Tannehill, you can just cut Ryan Tannehill or trade him.
You might be able to get a 6th-round pick for him, or even Mariota. You could probably get a 3 or 4 for Mariota.
Oh yeah, he'd be a great person to have that backup.
A great backup or a potential new starter. He could center somebody like Phillip Rivers, who if he retires at the end of the year, would be surprised. Or go to some place like the Steelers.
Yeah.
Honestly, if we're going to shake up the league like that, Marcus Mariota ends up on the Bears.
I don't think he'd make the Bears that much better.
I don't think so either.
I seriously am not sold on I'm not sold on Cam Newton either, but I'm not sold on Mariota. I'm really not.
Mariota.
No. He's not even the best QB in Tennessee Titans history, let alone the guy who's going to lead him to the promised land.
He was the guy that got that extra win, though, against the Chiefs when they weren't supposed to.
Right, and what did they do the next week?
They played the Patriots in Foxborough.
I know, but I'm just saying, but what have they done since then? Nothing.
Yeah.
Literally nothing.
There's another interesting quarterback. Not as a situation, but the Falcons. So Matt Ryan is having one of his worst statistical seasons.
Probably is.
And he actually is leading the league in interceptions. I think
crazy.
Over 4 games, he's at over 10 interceptions.
Really?
Which is...
He was an MVP 3-4 years ago, right?
Yeah, not terribly long ago. And
Has he been watching film of old Geno Smith?
I don't know. It's weird, though, because... Like, we think of Matt Ryan as, like, fairly consistent, not bad quarterback.
Yeah.
But he's falling apart out there. And the Falcons show it. The Falcons, I don't think, are a good football team right now.
And I honestly, I'm not going to entirely blame Matt Ryan for his play. Because I really feel like there's just been such a downhill at coaching when Shanahan left that it's just been hard for them to kind of bounce back.
Yeah, Matt Ryan is 11 touchdowns and 7 picks.
That's crazy.
Yeah, especially for you. You expect him to play.
And that's in 5 games.
Yeah, and I think the craziest part is you're not even hearing about that. Like, you think that'd be like big news,
right? Exactly. Everyone, because like, it's kind of a weird year for these good QBs. Because like Jared Goff, my guy Jared Goff leads the NFL in turnovers.
Yeah.
And,
and like last year...
For me, it's obvious because I watch them every week, but no one's really talking about that as much as I think it would be.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I think of that, if he keeps playing like this, you're going to have a QB controversy in LA, which sucks, but no one's really gotten to that point yet. I feel like people still think it's early in the year, which it really is, but all the NFL is an overreaction league, which is what I love about it, because then we have fun conversations like this. But... I don't know, but like you said, I only have ever seen Matt Ryan this bad. This is easily his worst year he's ever had so far.
See, coming into the season, we were like, honestly, there aren't that many teams with really bad quarterbacks, and there was a couple of neat teams, but now you look at it, there's so many new teams. The Luke Falk has been awful for the Jets. I don't know, Sam Darnold is apparently coming back this week. I'm not really sure.
Yeah.
I mean, the Dolphins are. That's been a shit show there.
I'm not blaming Josh Rosen.
I mean, the Redskins don't have a quarterback at all. The Cardinals, I guess the Cardinals got his first win.
Cardinals playing okay.
The Titans could be a mystery. The Panthers could be a mystery. The Broncos is a mystery. I mean, even the Ravens.
Yeah.
Lamar Jackson keeps on.
Yeah, Lamar Jackson's not been playing good the last couple of games. They're starting to figure him out.
Okay,
the Falcons, the Steelers, the Vikings. There's a lot of teams.
The funny thing about Lamar Jackson, even with throwing 2 picks a game, like recently, he's still been playing better than like the average.
Well, yeah, but
that's true. But look, so
like that will make him not win playoff games, though.
The Bears might need a new QB. The Vikings need a new QB. The Steelers need a new QB. The Ravens might. The Falcons might. All these. There's so many teams where that's the big question right now.
The Bears literally traded up for the second pick on a guy that had 13 games of college experience.
Yeah. The Jags could be another team that could be looking at their quarterback situation.
Hey, Minshew Mania.
Okay, actually, Gardner Minshew minus the 1 turnover he had from Burns that went for a touchdown. He actually had a really good game against Carolina.
Yeah, he looked great.
He looked really good against Carolina.
The only thing with the Jags is you still paying Nick Foles, and I know it's tough with Gardner Minshew. He needs to win this next game, I think. I don't know who they're playing, personally.
They're playing New Orleans.
Oof.
I know.
Yeah, that's the struggle.
See, here's the thing. Let's say they lose, let's say Jacksonville loses, but he still puts up an insane game and keeps him in it the whole way.
Yeah.
Then we just say the same thing the next week.
That's true. He has to win the next week.
Which I don't know I haven't been following.
But you know
the schedule.
But you know what's crazy?
They have a hard schedule because they have played in a hard division.
What a play! Oh,
fantastic! But yeah,
twin season in a nutshell.
Hey,
potential cut off.
Hey, if this next guy, it's Nelson Cruz next. He's 0 for 3 on the night.
Yeah, Nelson Cruz is going to strike out. Or no, it's Jorge Polanco. No, that was Jorge. Yeah, he's going to strike out.
So yeah, football.
Anyway, football.
Yeah, so I know we kind of talked about quarterbacks, but what team do you think is the most surprising?
All right, so real quick though, if you go back to our archives, back in May we had a episode that said something about a pyramid. We ranked what we thought the teams were going to be this year.
Yeah. So just want to go through different.
Yeah, we might as well.
Let's start. So we decided coming into the year that the 4 teams that we think were going to be the best.
This is
were
before
the Rams,
Noah.
the Saints, the Chargers, and the Browns. So the Rams have been kind of all over the place. Not going to lie, they got killed by Bucks, but then
they're still fair. You know, and as I'll speak for them just because I've watched every game they played. They're all over the place, and they're still trying to figure their shit out. Mm-hmm. But even the games that they have lost against Tampa, they were they were moving down the field looking for a game-tying touchdown. So they had a chance to send that game to OT. They were just a strip sack away. And obviously in Seattle they played like garbage, but still had a chance to win that football game. They still had they did not I told Brendan this. They did not deserve to win that game, which is why I knew Greg Zoran was going to miss it because things just weren't going our way that game. But we still had a chance to.
Yeah. So our next one is the Saints. The Saints are
good.
They're good. Even with Teddy Bridgewater in,
they've been a little shaky with the Bridgewater, but I feel like that's just a morale thing.
Well, I think but I think Teddy Bridgewater has been playing really good, and
Bridgewater has been playing well.
The Saints have easily a top 5 defense, but no one wants to admit it.
Yeah,
the Saints defense is insane.
Oh, I'll admit it all day.
Both the defense and the special teams really stepped up.
Oh gosh,
yeah. Breeze went out.
Insane.
That team was rallying without.
You know, and we were talking about this. I think it was your last week or the week before that. If they go undefeated or only lose 1 game, if you want to sit Breeze for another game or 2 just so he's fully healthy, I mean, obviously you get Drew Brees in ASAP because he's Drew freaking Brees.
He's Hall of Fame first ballot Hall of Famer Drew Brees.
Right, he's Drew Brees. That is enough said. But if you wanted to hey Drew, does your finger hurt a little bit?
You could have him in for a half or whatever.
Yeah, you put Bridgewater in, Bridgewater gets overwhelmed and start losing, throw Breeze in.
Exactly. And then
go, all right, guys, I Drew Brees.
Because realistically, the defense will keep you in it to where it's not going to be. It could be like a 10-point game, and it's okay, let's just go to work.
Also, the other thing is Bridgewater is not super old.
No, he's 28.
27, 28 is what I was thinking. So if he does play really well,
stared at it.
Well, the Yankees have just
The Yankees have
advanced.
been swept 16 in a row for the Twins.
the Yankees closing pitcher has struck out Nelson Cruz.
Literally, it was right down the middle too. Literally went right down the middle.
And Nelson Cruz
like
is one of the bigger hitters too. Oh, Ethan's texting.
How many did you say?
Huh?
How many did you say?
The Twins?
Yeah.
I believe that's now 16 losses in a row in the postseason.
Ethan says 15.
Is it 15?
Ethan said 15.
I thought it was 16 because they also had that wild card game.
No. But, Brendan, you were...
What was I talking about?
No idea.
Oh, the Saints.
Oh.
If he does do well, right, even with or without sitting Drew Brees or whatnot, when Drew Brees is healthy and can come back, right, I feel like you can switch up your draft board a little bit. Because, I'm sure, the past couple years, they've been keeping their eyes on some,
quarterback.
Not first round, but, second and third round quarterbacks. They're not going to go after Tua or anything like that, but...
And then, I'm assuming, obviously, Drew Brees is getting older, so I'm assuming that is something they're looking into, but I think that, I don't think that you're right, that they won't address quarterback necessarily as much, as long as they keep Bridgewater.
As long as Bridgewater keeps playing good.
Yeah. So the third team was the Chargers, who deemed to be the really good. And the Chargers, I'm gonna say it. I'm gonna be honest with you. Chargers aren't good.
Chargers suck.
They are not playing well. I mean, no offense to the Broncos, but they lost to the Broncos.
Yeah, they and the Lions, didn't they?
Yeah, they lost to the Lions.
The Lions are doing good this year.
I mean, but if you look at both of those teams, they were playing. They had hell of a game. They really stepped it up.
Going into this week, the Broncos had a 1% chance to make the playoffs. Do you see that?
Yeah.
The NFL did a percentage thing. Broncos had a 1% chance to make the playoffs going into this week. Yeah.
But now look at it.
It's probably 2 or 3.
Now it's 12. Not 12. Not 12. It's probably 6.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sure the Lions is much higher. I stand by what I say. The Lions are still that worst team in the division. Maybe the Vikings, but as of right now, I still think...
I'd say the Lions are contending with the Vikings pretty well then.
Right.
Yeah, Kirk Cousins keeps playing like he is, yes. But I don't... The Lions aren't going to win the division. They're not making the playoffs. I'm sorry, Detroit fans. I know you're probably hyped right now. You're in a good mood.
But it happens every year.
Lions are bad. Lions go 6-10 or 5-11.
We haven't even got to the Lions yet. Next.
Well, no, they have a tie. They have to tie in there.
Oh, yeah, they have a tie. So they're going to go 5-10-1.
I think they're going to go 7-8-1 because they're mediocre. That's what they are. They're just mediocre.
The next one's the Browns, and the Browns are 3-2.
Yeah, the Browns aren't.
They're 2-3 now, aren't they?
Oh yeah, because
they got destroyed by the Niners.
They're definitely not in the elite category.
No.
I would still put them in the middle, I guess.
Maybe the third squad.
Because think about it. Back when we were talking about it, we were all hyped up on. Well, most of us were hyped up on Baker Mayfield and that defense.
And
Baker Mayfield is not that great right now.
Baker Mayfield is budget Brett Favre.
You've said that before.
I'm going to keep saying it.
So the next one is the Texans, and I don't know the Texans record off the top of my head. I think it's 3-2.
3-2, yep.
I saw interesting. The quarterback, guess what? Deshaun Watson right now has the highest passer rating of any quarterback for the season so far.
Yeah, Deshaun Watson is
playing very well.
He's playing good, and I think the Texans could win the division.
I think the Texans probably will win that division because they have the best QB play in that division.
I think their only contender would be the Colts.
The Titans can turn things around, though, because we've seen the Titans dominate.
Titans are not that good of a team.
Right with the Texans are the first team in the second category. I think that's a really good place for them. So I don't think they're one of the top best 4 teams in the league, but I think they're still a really solid team.
I think if they get to the AFC Championship and lose to New England, that's a successful season.
Yeah, it really is.
That's something they can really build off of.
The next one is the Eagles, and the Eagles are another kind of weird team.
They're figuring it out now.
They are. They were bad for a little bit. Obviously, injuries was a big. Receiver injuries was a part of that. They lost all the receivers. Yeah, Jeffrey came back. They also played a great game in Lambeau on Thursday night. And who they play this week?
They played the Jets, and they destroyed them like they should have. But now with Dallas playing is bad, I don't think Dallas is that great.
No,
now that they're starting to play good teams.
So it's like Dallas fans, right? Every time the Cowboys win a game,
we the boys.
Dallas has been the best team in the NFL.
It's funny because the Packers always beat the Cowboys. Aaron Rodgers in Arlington
is 5-0, isn't he? 4-0, 5-0.
He's 5-0.
5-0.
Yeah, he's 5-0 in Arlington.
Yeah, he's never lost in AT&T Stadium.
No, he's so good against the Cowboys.
To be fair though, Tom Brady is the highest winning record in.
Why is it that we're talking about the Packers?
Because he's got to drive Tom Brady and.
I know why. We are trying to talk about Aaron Rodgers.
It was actually. I actually saw a cool stat. So it was looking past Cowboys and Packers quarterbacks. After watching the game, they showed this. It was like
they were showing.
Troy Aikman was 9-2 against the Packers, and Brett Favre was 2-9 against the Cowboys, and the Packers quarterback before that was 8-1 against the Cowboys, and the Cowboys quarterback was really bad. It's like every quarterback change, every quarterback situation, the one of the two switches. So next time they both switch quarterbacks, the Cowboys will be really good against the Packers.
Oh. Well, if you look at the Eagles' upcoming schedule, they go Minnesota, Cowboys, Bills, Bears, Patriots, Seahawks.
Ooh.
I could see them losing to the Bills, to the Patriots, and maybe the Bears. But
I could see them losing Bills, Bears, Patriots, and I think they'll definitely lose to the Seahawks.
That'd be a good game, I think. I think it'd be a good game.
There's some blood there. That's like there's some bad blood.
Okay, so
that's gonna make the game good.
Our next team is the Patriots. They played one game against a team with a
I think they deserve to be where they are.
I think they need to be higher than they are.
When you let the Redskins score.
Yeah, Redskins picked you up.
When you let the Redskins take a lead on you,
red zone interception.
So that doesn't matter. We don't care about that. When you let the Redskins sack Tom Brady as much as they did, and you let the Redskins the first quarter the Redskins would have won that game if you would have just ended it in the first quarter. So that's what
That's because we have an injured kicker and an injured O-line.
Did you see who they signed?
Mike Nougat. Did you see?
No, it was Young Ho.
No, that was that's who they signed as a backup for Nougat.
Oh,
but if you look but Nougat missed his first kick.
Yep, but he was 100% the rest of the night.
Well, he missed one, so he can't be 100%. I mean,
the rest of the night,
I guess.
If you're gonna, so hear me out. We take the first quarter of the game. We call that a Redskins win because that's going to be the only win that they're going to have in
that's
the
fine.
next few weeks.
That's the only one
right?
they need.
Then the other 3 quarters, he's 100%.
But I mean, if you're looking at the Redskins, that first quarter win,
yeah,
and you looked at the Patriots,
well, then they go.
I'm going to keep going.
Okay,
the Colts.
I think they deserve
Colts are good.
The Colts are good.
I don't think they're top category.
I do.
I think this in the middle of that second is a good spot for them.
That's a really good spot for
them. I feel like they can move higher up in the second.
I think
if they move like a certain team up and move certain teams down.
Yeah, like middle of the spot's good because they can still I think they can legit still take that division. But if not, like wild card, they're a good team.
Imagine that Andrew Luck. Do you think this would be a better team?
Yes.
No. Well, to be fair, Jacoby Brissett has been playing fairly decent.
I know.
We can't.
Andrew Luck, that would be a.
You'd be in the next. First off, they would have won that game against the Chargers, so they'd be 4-1, and then they lost to who? Colts. Who else did they lose to?
They lost to the Chargers and the Raiders.
The Raiders.
Oh, yeah.
That's right. They probably would have beat the Raiders, honestly, because they're obviously better than the Raiders. They probably had a weird. Well, then again, the Raiders did just beat the Raiders. Maybe the Raiders are good. Maybe.
So, the next team is the Jags, which is another really interesting team.
They're in a weird spot.
Are they good? Are they bad?
They've been hella competitive, and Gardner Minshew is playing insane right now. Minshew Mania is still alive and well. But it's like, I don't know, because their defense is not playing good. And I thought at the beginning of the year, if you gave them a quarterback, they would try harder. Now I feel like they are trying. Maybe they're just not actually good.
But we didn't give them a quarterback at all.
Well, no, I'm saying this year.
Yeah.
Last year they didn't try because they knew it doesn't matter how good we play because Blake Bortles is gonna be ass of a quarterback. Now I don't know what the deal is with Jacksonville because they're putting points on the board. and they had
close.
They had a bad turnover in that game, which kind of made the difference against Carolina. So it's just like they just make those weird little mistakes.
They're not polished yet.
They're not a polished they're just not a polished football team.
Our next one is the Seahawks, which I think is a good team right now.
I think
Russell Wilson is playing really good.
Russell Wilson is the MVP right now.
I think
in my book.
Yeah, for sure. I think the Seahawks are probably the best team in the NFC, I'd say.
49ers.
They're better.
Statistically, right now.
Guys, just wait till the night. The Rams are going to play the Niners. They're going to put them in their place, and everything is going to be fine.
I still don't. Even if the Rams beat the Niners, I feel like the Niners are a better team than the Seahawks.
No, I think Seahawks are better than the Niners.
I think Seahawks are too.
I think the Eagles are a better team than the Niners.
What?
I really do.
Yeah.
Like, really, the Packers are a better team than the Niners. The Bears are a better team than the Niners.
Packers play the Niners.
Packers are probably a better team than the Niners.
Not probably, they are.
But
the Saints are a better team than the Niners.
I think 49ers are good, and I feel like
they're
you're
good.
just salty.
I'm not salty.
No, okay.
George
Kittle is my favorite tight end in the league, and my favorite quarterback that is that got traded in the past how many years is probably Jimmy Garoppolo. So I mean, I like them. I just don't think they're better than the Seahawks.
No. Seattle's legit. They're a good football team. Russell Wilson's playing like an MVP. If you guys didn't...
But like my thing is, the Seahawks were close to losing against the Bengals.
Okay, week 1. Extension of the preseason.
Okay. They were close to losing against the Steelers. Or did they lose that game?
No, they won.
No, they beat the Steelers.
Who did they lose to?
They lost. The only team they lost to is the Saints.
They only have one loss.
And
I thought they had two.
The Saints,
the reason they lost to the Saints is because of the Saints' special team.
Yeah.
But the Saints are still good. Yeah. Like no one's going to win on losing to the Saints.
No. I think so. Real quick, I think the Seahawks and the Browns should have been flipped.
I still wouldn't. Like, even if we're saying teams are better than teams, I still wouldn't put the Seahawks above the second guy.
I believe how we did last time was the top 4 elite, and then it was above average, below average.
Yep.
I think the Seahawks are definitely in that above average.
Yeah.
I'm not quite sure if they're one of the top 4.
Their defense still, to me, is not... Like, they have some good players on defense, but I don't think they're at, like, an elite level.
Not quite.
They're still kind of... The offensive line's still pretty bad. Like, there's still some questions with Seattle, but let's just splash a little Russell Wilson on, everything will be okay. That's literally what's going on. Russell Wilson is the MVP right now, and what he did against the Rams, I've never seen any quarterback do that. It was so impressive. Like, it was actually kind of funny, like that insane touchdown. You guys, I'm sure, saw the touchdown to Tyler Lockett. Yeah. I actually was like, you know what? I can't be mad about that. That was freaking awesome. That was a good play.
Let's go down to our average category.
Yeah.
Starts with the Bears.
Yep, I agree.
Yeah.
See, beginning of the year, I would have disagreed with that, but now I'm kind of like...
Bears are where they belong.
And the only reason is because of QB play. That's the only reason.
Speaking of QB play, the Vikings.
The below average is our biggest category, and I think the Vikings would fall down to there. I just think Kirk Cousins, he fumbles and he throws picks, and then...
And it's crazy. Like, did you guys watch the Vikings game at all?
The Giants one? No.
Yeah, kind of.
Vikings should have won by way more than what they did. Yeah. The Giants were a few plays away from making that a close football game. They really, really were. Yeah. Like that game could have got out of hand for Minnesota if their defense didn't make big plays in that game.
All right.
Just saying.
The next one is the Steelers, which is another interesting team.
Steelers, I would keep there.
No, I would throw away.
No,
they're 1-4 right now.
They're 1-4.
A third-string quarterback.
Yeah, because Mason Rudolph is concussion out.
Right.
Who's their third string?
Oh, God. I knew.
It was Josh Dobbs.
I don't remember what his name is.
It's some guy. That's why they're, I think, below average, because it's just a guy.
I thought they had 2 wins randomly, so I would throw him down.
Devlin Hodges.
Oof.
Yeah, no.
He's been in the league for a while, but
no.
He's not good.
Still no.
Yeah, throw him down.
I want to throw the next person team up. The Packers?
I would put them up 1. I'm not going to put them in elite.
Yeah, I put them up 1.
I don't think they're quite in the top 4, but I think they are in that above average thing. I think
much
the
above
defense harassed Dak Prescott.
Yeah.
I think it was 2 official picks. There was 2 called back for penalties.
Yeah, they harassed Dak Prescott. They made Zeke Elliott a non-factor.
Yeah. Zadarius Smith has 5 sacks. Preston Smith has 6 sacks.
And Aaron Rodgers did what he does against Dallas.
Yeah, he played great.
He played awesome.
He didn't throw a touchdown, but he had a 70% completion rating and 220 yards. He had a solid game.
But Aaron Rodgers is smart. It's just like, damn. Because how many touchdowns did Jones have?
4. 4 rushing touchdowns from Aaron Jones.
Instead of Debbie does Dallas, it's A-Rod does Dallas.
Yeah. I think the Packers' defense is good. I think Aaron Rodgers is still good. I think Aaron Jones is getting better.
And can we talk about how good Green Bay's offensive line played against that Dallas?
And we were down our starting center and our starting guard.
I would say you guys had injuries at the offensive line.
There was actually a really cool play. Our center went out. Corey Lindsey went out. Some Patrick's are back up. He came in. He snapped it, but it was wide and actually went to Aaron Jones. Aaron Jones ran it for a first down.
That's awesome.
Like the snap slipped in his hand and went adjacent, and Aaron Jones just caught it and ran for first down.
Isn't it crazy? Like, they're such freak athletes like that. They can make they make it look planned, but it's just like, that could have been way worse.
I think if you watched Aaron Jones in that game, he played amazing. He was shifty. He had 150 rushing yards and 50 receiving yards and 4 touchdowns. 50 fantasy points.
So our next team is the Ravens, and I think the Ravens, I want to say they're above, but I don't. I think they belong where they are.
Average category. Just because they were good at the beginning, and now people are figuring out Lamar Jackson. And
they're starting to figure him out. I don't think the defense is amazing. They're fine.
I feel like
Earl Thomas is playing well, but
I feel like they could turn it around because their defense is playing solid.
They did lose Tony Jefferson for the year.
Oh, I didn't know about that.
Big hit.
That'll.
Yeah, that
what an awesome start.
Defensive play. Should also done Jimmy Ward back, or not Jimmy Ward.
We did.
Corner. Jimmy Smith?
Jimmy Smith got injured too?
Yeah, he's been out for most of the season.
Oh yeah, I knew that.
But he's still out. Tony Jefferson's still out. Lamar Jackson is kind of showing a little more about who he is. They're
running back.
I don't know. I think they could turn around, but I don't see it. I wouldn't guess they're going to turn around. I think th're going to go
they're a 9-7.
Yeah, I was doing 9-7, 8-8. They might scrape into the AFC playoffs. They probably
as a wild card get bounced in the first round.
Yeah, something like that.
See, actually, and you know what's so crazy? Because the Browns, I think the Browns can still turn their crap around, but the Ravens could still win that division.
Yeah,
they could go 9-7, still win that division.
Yeah, because it's the Steelers, the Browns, who's the third team?
The Bengals.
Yeah, no. I can see them win the division.
Yeah. So, but even then, I'm not going to consider the Ravens a match. They'll advance because I'll have a home game. I'm sure Lamar Jackson will do something weird and cool. Be Lamar Jackson.
Our next team is the Kansas City Chiefs. I would put them 1 above. I wouldn't put them in the elite, just because.
I'm gonna put them. I'm even gonna go against my words. Even without a defense, they're in the elite. Just because no teams are really elite, but that Kansas City offense is ridiculous. But
and you say that team has no defense. Their defense has been playing significantly better this year.
Yeah, it really has.
You say, they don't have a defense. They held the Colts to what? 19,
But do you think after the Colts?
Well, right, but then that's not on the defense.
I guess.
But the Colts also had an insane game plan against Kansas City.
I was going to say, now that the Colts they've shown the game plan to beat Kansas City.
Right.
Do you think some of these teams are start prepping? You look at teams, Packers play in 5 weeks. If I was the Packers, I'd watch the game 30 times too. That's exactly what I'd do it.
The Patriots have until week 10 to prepare.
Yeah, these teams, they have some tough teams like the Packers and the Patriots. They're in Lambeau week 11 against the Packers. The Packers are going to watch that game. And Aaron Rodgers, I think, because obviously the reason the Colts beat the Chiefs where they kept Patrick Mahomes off the field.
I'm not going to lie. I would, where I'm at right now, I would still put the Chiefs winning that game.
I think it'd be a really good game, though.
I think it's going to be close, but I still put the Chiefs winning that game.
That's going to be so much fun to watch Aaron Rodgers and Patrick Mahomes. As much as they're probably going to watch film, I would love to just have both defenses go to crap that game and just watch those two just gunslinging all over.
I would love it, too, because it's going to be end of November in Lambeau. that could be one of the better games of the year, in my opinion.
No kidding. And it'll just feel so cool because it's just going to be like changing of the guard sort of thing. Like, because like Aaron Rodgers for the longest time has been regarded as the most talented QB in the NFL, and now we're switching to that, persona of Patrick Mahomes. And I was going to say this too, like, you may be able to, like, slow him down a little. Like, you're going to watch film and be like, okay, this is the formula. Because that's what's been happening to the Rams, too. Like, they saw the Patriots game in the Super Bowl, and now our offense hasn't been as fantastic as of late. I worry that that's going to happen for Kansas City, and I hate it because I love watching Patrick Mahomes. I don't want him to regress. And that's what I worry. I think he's so fun for this league. I think he's so good for this league. Mm-hmm. I think Patrick Mahomes will still be Patrick Mahomes. He'll still put up insane numbers. But wouldn't be surprised if the offense is definitely brought back down to earth a little bit.
Yeah.
But we also got to remember later in the year too, never mind. He's for the Browns now. I'm done. Never mind.
Well, but
never mind. But
you also got to remember that. The Madden curse is a real thing.
No.
Patrick Mahomes is on the Madden curse.
No. Here's my philosophy about this. So Antonio Brown brought it to such new heights of the Madden curse. He used himself as a sacrifice. He actually before the whole season ended and stuff, he was like, "Listen, this Madden curse needs to end." And Antonio Brown's like, "You know what? If anyone can survive from this, at the time he thought, okay, if anyone can survive from this, it's me.
Right.
I am willing to put my career on the line to reverse this Madden curse."
Right.
The Madden curse required a sacrifice, and we got it from Antonio Brown.
I don't know if you looked at him the past 2 weeks. He only has one touchdown.
Right. Well, I will say, yeah, but Patrick Mahomes still was able to lead a really impressive drive against Detroit. And, and it's one of those things where it's like, it's not how you start, it's how you finish.
I guess.
It's just one of those things, and Patrick Mahomes finished well. And even then against Indianapolis, I was able to watch the fourth quarter. Mm-hmm. There was 3rd and 15 or something. Patrick Mahomes completed the pass. He completed it to one of his receivers. He was running, should have had a first down, but he decided to, he hesitated. He should have just reached out, would have got a first down. And then they were going to go for it on 4th down. And this was actually in Indianapolis territory, so they're already in field goal range when it happened. I don't know what Andrew was thinking, but when there were 7 guys up in the box expecting him to run, they handed off the ball.
Yeah.
And, of course, they stuffed it. That was a bad play called by Andy Reid. Oh. So in that situation, we obviously don't know if they're going to score for sure, but we can assume that they are going to go down the field, get at least a field goal, and then shake your head, 8 dub. But and we obviously don't know for sure, but I definitely think Kansas City would have at least made it interesting, scored a touchdown, and take the lead. So there's just so many things that just could have gone Kansas City's way that would have made it a different game.
The next one, NFC East Cowboys.
They belong where they are.
They looked great at the beginning.
They played a bunch of garbage teams.
They played the Saints and the Packers, which is not a fun back-to-back games.
And they lost both of them.
Dak Prescott was horrendous.
Dak Prescott has looked bad in both
Zeke didn't do much.
To be fair, though.
Yeah, Zeke has been bad in both games, too.
To be fair, though, the game against the Saints, they only lost by 2.
Yeah.
And Dak Prescott was rallying.
Not Zach Martin, but Trent Williams went down. Or not Trent Williams. Who's the tackle again for Dallas? Tyrone Smith. He went down. And actually, Collins is now injured, too. So there's some injuries to the offensive line, which seems to have been the only thing stopping that offensive line from being the best in the league. Is the last 3 years they just had a beat-up offensive line.
But Dallas was rallying for a comeback against the Packers.
They were,
obviously, they didn't get it, but I still feel like they're not the worst team ever.
No, I'm not saying that.
I really feel like they should tick up.
I don't think so. Okay, so if you
look at where they are,
look at who they played. They played the Buccaneers, who they lost to week 1. Then they played the Giants, Redskins, and Dolphins, the 3 worst teams in the NFL, by far. You can't... And then they lost to the Saints and the Packers, which are good teams, but you can't say, you can't say that they're up there. You can't say that they belong with teams like the Texans and the Seahawks.
They're not even the best team in their own state.
When they can't... Exactly. When they can't compete with those type of guys.
But they're definitely not as bad as our next team.
Well, that's true. Our next team needs to go down for sure.
Yeah,
we put on the average category thinking Matt Ryan's going to be okay. Julio will get a bunch of yards. Devonta Freeman will run a little bit.
Yeah, think they're going to beat the Vikings week 1.
They have 7 turnovers throughout the game.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, they're not good. Matt Ryan's not playing good. That defense is not playing really good.
Keanu O'Neal got injured again.
Julio hasn't been doing much, I don't think.
Well, how can Julio do much when Matt Ryan's throwing the ball to the other team?
Right. The only player that's been productive on that team is Austin Hooper. And the only reason I know is because he's actually gave me more fantasy points than Travis Kelce in one of my leagues.
True.
Which is disappointing because I always sit Austin Hooper because I'm always like, oh, this is the week Travis Kelce's going to go off. And then...
No, he doesn't.
And then he doesn't.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on with Travis Kelce either, but that's a different discussion.
Right. I think people are just kind of starting to... I think they're just starting to take away Patty Mahomes' weapons one by one.
Well, Tyreek Hill will come back soon this next week.
You know, and that's true.
Yeah. This week or next week.
See, that's an interesting thing, too.
And Watkins was injured and didn't play the Colts game either.
You know, and that's an interesting thing, too. You'd be like, oh, they have the formula to beat Kansas City. Okay, we may have the formula, but are you going to be able to beat Tyreek Hill one-on-one? No, you're probably
That's not how you beat Tyreek Hill, though.
There's not really any corners that I could honestly think that.
No, but and obviously you're probably not going to do a man-on-man, but even then, it's just like there's not a lot of guys that can cover Tyreek Hill or as fast as him. No. And all Patrick Mahomes has to do is just give it to him, give him a chance, and Patrick Mahomes can definitely give him a chance.
So we're going to go to our below average. I think for the most part we should speed around a couple of these guys because obviously we'll stop for a couple if you have one. If you have one to stop for.
Bengals are hopeful, but they're still bad.
No, they're bad.
Bengals.
Bengals suck.
Buffalo need to be up.
Buffalo's a playoff.
Buffalo was good.
I'm going to come out and say it. I would put Buffalo in the above average category.
Buffalo's
We're not going to put Cowboys in.
They're playing like they're an above average team. Jets suck. Raiders, maybe.
I put the Raiders in the
third tier. I put them in the third tier.
Yeah. Lions,
third tier.
Third tier.
Dolphins,
fourth tier.
Bucks,
fifth tier.
No,
not the Bucks.
Tampa puts in the third tier.
Yep.
They've been playing well.
Giants,
stay.
Third tier.
Redskins.
Daniel Jones.
There's a reason why our fourth tier is so large. If we put everybody in the above tier, then.
No, but I think, side note for the Giants, I'll make it quick, I think Daniel Jones really gives that team a chance. I really do. They had their chances against Minnesota. I'll just leave it at that.
All right. Redskins are awful. Niners?
They're
Niners are...
They're above average.
Okay, they either need to be above average or elite.
They're above average.
No, so right now we only have one team in the elite, and there should be four.
Well, we have the Saints, and we have the Patriots, and we have the Chiefs.
You guys did move the Patriots.
Yeah, we have the Chiefs, Saints, and Patriots.
I thought y'all shot me down when I said that because their
Patriots realistically are going to be in the elite. They always will be as long as Tom Brady's still playing.
And then we have the Cardinals, which are bad.
They're bad, yeah.
The Titans, which are bad.
They're bad.
But if we're putting certain teams up, we probably need to put the Titans up.
I don't think the Titans are that good. I just don't. I think they have a couple weird wins, like week 1. Where it's still against a Cleveland team that's not playing well, and they're just.
I guess they also beat the Jets.
Yeah, the Jets. Whoa! Watch out for Tennessee.
And then we have the Panthers, who
I'd put them
third tier for now.
I almost feel like we need a
continued winning streak.
And then the last one, the Broncos, I think stay here.
Yeah,
I think they stay here, but I think.
I feel like they.
Okay. So I think there needs to be 5 tiers, and I think you need to throw the Redskins, the
Bengals,
the Bengals, the Dolphins,
and
then
the Jets. I think they need to be below.
But I think the Broncos could be in that tier too, because the Broncos
are not.
If you look at Joe Flacco, he's ranked 13th among quarterbacks this year. Which isn't great.
Joe Flacco's not the problem.
But it's above average. If you look at the offense isn't the problem. The offense is doing okay. If you look at the defense, they got off to a slow start. But if you look,
then they lost one of their best players and still did okay.
Yeah, so if you look at it when they're playing, I think they definitely deserve to be in that 4th category with the Titans, I'd say.
I would pick the Titans over the Broncos any day.
If the Broncos win the next if they can win 2 more games over the next 4 weeks.
Okay, so here's who they play. They play the Titans this week, actually.
Oh,
So we'll get to that in a minute.
Decide it.
We'll get to that in a minute. And then they play the Chiefs and the Colts, which they're going to lose to.
Yeah.
And the Browns, who's a big if.
I think they're going to lose.
The Vikings, who I think they can beat.
They're going to lose to the Vikings.
And then the Bills.
I feel like the Broncos could knock off the Vikings.
I think they will.
I'm honestly going to say
knock
that.
out the Vikings?
The Broncos.
If their defense can go back to playing at the way they played early a season ago.
Is the Vikings defense is always really good at US Bank Stadium. So
Right, but if you look at it, it's still Kirk Cousins. I mean,
he
plays good this week. Next week he's going to play like shit again.
I think it'll be a weird. Either it's going to be a blowout or it's. I think the Vikes win either way. Honestly, obviously depending on where because obviously Denver could be on a huge winning streak and. We just don't know for sure.
Okay, so they're one win right now, right?
Yeah, Chiefs are just going to collapse right now. Here.
Let's say they beat the Titans and then they beat the Vikings. That's 3. That's
right.
3 and.
Okay.
3. Well, no.
No, it'd be 3 and 5.
It'd be 3 and 13.
3 and 13.
Oh, you're saying
still, if you look at that, if you look at the games they've played, they should be 3 and 2 or 2 and. Yeah, they should be 3 and 2 right now. They lost on that field goal, which was a bad roughing the passer call on Bradley Chubb.
Against the Bears.
Right, and then they lost.
They lost to the Raiders 24-16, the Bears 16-14, the Packers 27-16, the Jags 26-24.
They lost to the Jags. They lost to the Jags.
So the Jags on a winning field goal.
Yeah,
too.
on a winning field goal. So they realistically, if they would have closed the games out, they should be 3 and 2.
Yeah, but
they just aren't.
And then they're in a different position.
I guess.
And then they're 3 and 2, and they win 3 more games, and they go 6 and 10.
True.
I mean, 6 and 10 is better than nothing.
Better than 3 and 13.
I guess, but
better than the Redskins. Redskins aren't going to get no wins. Dolphins aren't going to get no wins anytime soon.
Well, actually, no, because the Dolphins and the Redskins play each other this week.
Yeah, that's another thing.
Someone is going to get... Well, or they could just both be awful and finish in like a 3-3 tie. But that'd be awesome, wouldn't it? But no, one of those teams will get... There will be a win in that game. I think it's going to be the Dolphins.
Oh,
I think the Dolphins are going to beat the Redskins.
Well, we're on to that. Real quick, though, Ethan says that his most surprising team, he's not here this week, are the Lions and the Ravens, for some reason. And then the teams he's disappointed in are the Browns and the Chargers, which we both agree with.
I think a team I'm happily surprised with are the Green Bay Packers. Coming into the season, they won 6 games last year. New head coach. It was all a mess. They got all these new people. Their defense is playing good. Aaron Rodgers is still Aaron Rodgers. They're leading that division, and I think they're put in the middle of the average. I think they've definitely jumped.
So my most surprising team would be the Bills. Just because how they're playing, you wouldn't expect that.
No, Bills would probably my other one too.
My most disappointing was the Rams coming off that last season. They really they were at that next level, and I think they really just took a dip.
Mine are the Chargers. Coming in the season, you look at the Chargers. You have Phillip Rivers, Hunter Henry, Keenan Allen, Mike Williams, Melvin Gordon. You have a really good offense. Your defense has some really good pieces.
Derwin James, yep.
Casey Hayward's a good corner. Derwin James. Coming in the season, they had so much promise. We put them in the elite category.
Yeah, to be fair, they have had some banged up players.
They have, and they've lost a lot of good players.
Right,
but they suck now.
Yeah,
they went from we ranked them as the third best, going to be the third best team in the NFL, and they're obviously not.
Yeah, I'm kind of tossing them between my biggest disappointment. Like, I want to say the Rams, just because I know they can play so much better than this. I don't think you should give up on the Rams. I still think they're going to take the division. I don't want to say Cleveland either, because I definitely think Cleveland was one of those teams where it's like it either could go really well or they're a young team and they're going to fall to their own type. So I'm not going to say Cleveland. I actually might also go with the Chargers because you look at it, they still have enough weapons to make things work. Yeah, regardless, they still had some injuries and stuff, with it. But I think like the Chargers are there. I think the Bears are kind of falling in that category right now. They've lost. They're two. Well, I guess they lost the Packers, but it's just they're not. They're off. Like Mitch Trubisky is not playing well. He hasn't progressed like they thought they would. I think the Falcon. Actually, I lied. The Falcons are the biggest one.
Yeah.
Because going into the year, I had them as like a fringe, like Super Bowl, like dark horse Super Bowl contender. I think a lot of people did.
I mean,
and they laid an egg like
you
this.
also go to the Steelers, were a fringe playoff team going to these.
That's true. That's so true.
Yeah, but when Big Ben goes down, you know your Super Bowl window's kind of it's closed up.
Big Ben, I'm going to give my official prediction. Big Ben retires this year.
I would not be surprised.
Or he tries next year and he just can't get back on the field and he just retires.
Yeah.
I think this is his career.
Yeah.
It's over.
I think so. I would agree with that. I don't want to say I agree with that, but I think I do.
Steelers going to start over. They need to rebuild.
I think they need to.
You say that about every team that's doing that.
It works.
I've been saying the Vikings fans, just
honestly,
literally, if this year doesn't work, or like Ethan said, I'm kind of buying into that. Cut Kirk Cousins, trade everyone, rebuild.
Yeah.
Just rebuild. Because this is just kind of a little side note here. The one thing that's interesting, I was listening to the Will Kane show, and he brought up a really good point. You know, we make fun of the Dolphins and all that stuff and them tanking. At least they have a direction.
Yeah.
Like, they're like, we're going to get draft picks and rebuild.
Yep.
And you have your bad teams and your elite teams. Then you have that middle fringe where it's like, we're not going to win a Super Bowl, but we're not bad enough to get a draft picks. We're just sitting there in mediocrity.
You're looking at like 6-10 to 8-18.
Exactly, and you're not going to do anything. And that's where the Vikings and like the Lions and all those teams that are just there, and they need to just go to one. Like you just need to try and get to one extreme or the other.
Yeah, you either need to go all in or
start over until you get all in.
Yeah.
You know, obviously it's not looking good for Cleveland, but like they're kind of doing that right now.
So, team that I'm most surprised about is the 49ers. We saw them come off of like having like the third pick in the draft to now be 4-0.
It's my third time.
Which again, like the teams they played weren't like amazing, but like still.
I will say this about the Niners. Like, I'm actually not surprised because I even said like the Niners are a really good. I said going into the year, I thought they were going to go like 11-5, 10-6.
If you go back to this episode specifically, I say 49ers make it in the wild card.
I also said that too. I said that. Well, I mean, I wasn't on the show, but like I write my prediction on like whatever. I had the Niners as the playoff team.
Team I'm most disappointed in. I'm gonna kind of. So I was kind of the guy that was part of the reason why the Bears were up in the like average tier and not like in the lower tier. It kind of seems at the time everybody was talking down on the Bears. I'm like, nah, defense alone, right? But defense alone isn't cutting it anymore. I thought like going into this week, Khalil Mack against his old team is going to get like 20 sacks, not like actually, but like, you know, he's going to be a monster. And we didn't see, like, he obviously played good, he's Khalil Mack, but he didn't play crazy, and neither did the Bears. So I'm going to put the Bears as my biggest disappointment. Because I was expecting them to overachieve your guys'.
Fair enough.
You know what surprised me, though? The Raiders.
Yeah.
Like honestly, like there's so much bullshit that they had to deal with beginning of the year. You know, Hard Knocks, Antonio Brown.
Which part of that was like their own fault. Like,
No,
Antonio Brown, I'm not blaming them for, but like,
no, I know, but that
their draft picks. Like everybody was like, "What the hell are they doing?"
They're panning out.
They're turning out.
Carlos Farrell is a beast. Jacobs is a beast. Like everyone's, and they're 3-2. They're 3-2. They're 3-2.
They beat the Bears.
They beat the Bears and the Colts back to, and those are two playoff contenders. Like those are good football teams. So it's like, and then you know you look at the Raiders. They have to play the Broncos again. Then they have to play the crappy Chargers again. It's like
they have a chance easily to make
Like
playoffs.
the Raiders are seriously like they're handling all this chaos to perfection. Not to perfection, but they're handling the chaos really, really well.
All right.
You ready for your?
I'm ready. Let's go into
Let's pick 'em.
Our pick 'em for the week.
Let's pick them.
Last week we had a 4-way tie.
Again.
Congratulations to the following:
Wait,
everybody but Ethan,
Ben, Brendan, Noah, and Duncan.
Yeah.
We are sorry, Ethan. You have not qualified for this week's win.
Wait. Maybe we should compare scores.
Well, I picked 2 people to win, and 2 of my 3 people, nobody else picked to win but me.
That is true.
The Panthers game and the Bills game, I'm the only one that said the Panthers and Bills are going to win, and they won both games.
Yeah.
And I think it was pretty close. I don't know, what was the Bills Titans score? They might know off the top of their head.
17-9.
I guess 17-6.
Yeah. But like the Patriots game, I guess 24-6, and it was 33-9 or 33-7. Sorry.
I chose the Broncos to win. That's a bad excuse. But the Seahawks game was about. It wasn't 34-36, but it was close. 29-30.
We all predicted the Cleveland Browns, or the Browns-Niners game really close, and it wasn't. You were the only person who picked Denver winning.
Yeah.
We were just like,
only one that had so
that bad.
Let's move on to this week. Got to kick it off with some Thursday night football.
I'll go first.
All right.
Giants at Patriots. Close game. The Giants win 69-42.
Hands down.
69-42. One of these days the Patriots are going to lose. I'm going to be right. I'm going to win that week because of it.
All right. My score is not as drastic. I do think the Patriots are unfortunately going to beat the Giants because Daniel Jones hasn't learned the art of beating the Patriots yet. He just, he's still learning that from Eli Manning.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just, the Patriots are good. They're at home on Thursday against another really bad defense, bad team in general. Daniel Jones is really good. I think he'll have his moments, but I think the Patriots will just be too much for him. I have 26-10, New England.
Duncan?
Alrighty, so I have it 21-16 Patriots. I think that the Giants are going to surprise people who are doubting the Giants. I think they're going to put up a great game against the Patriots. I think the Patriots have been overhyped all season long. Yes, they are an elite team. They're not as good as they think they are. They're playing the worst teams in the league. So there's no reason you can say that you're that good. I think the Giants aren't going to get the win, but I think they're going to be able to humble the Patriots a little bit.
All right, we'll go to the next one.
Yeah, we'll come back.
Sunday Night Football, Steelers, Chargers. No Mason Rudolph, no Big Ben. Chargers, they out-throw. Philip Rivers outplays, you said his name, Steelers quarterback. Doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
28-21 Chargers. Keenan Allen has an amazing game because of 2 touchdowns. Steelers keep it interesting. I'm not going to lie. Chargers are shaky, and Steelers keep it interesting, but they can't do it.
Yeah, Chargers still have injuries and they're not playing well. Philip Rivers isn't playing well. I have a field goal game. It's 23-20 Chargers for me. You know what's so crappy? I was talking to Brennan about this. Is anybody going to watch this Sunday night game?
No.
I'm not.
I mean, I don't have nothing else to watch.
I guess
if there's nothing else to watch.
It'll be on in the background, yes.
Right, but
I'll keep up with it.
Right, but because what was the Sunday night game last week? It was,
I don't know. It was, this last week was the Chiefs Colts.
Yeah.
Chiefs Colts.
Yeah, Chiefs Colts. I
was watching Hell in a Cell, disappointing. Shouldn't have done that. But,
right. But that's a matchup you watch. Or Dallas, those are matchups you watch. This is not going to be a good matchup. It's 2 really bad teams, and it's just... And obviously we're not in the time of year yet where there's the flex scheduling yet, but...
It should have... Last year.
Just a little side note.
It should have been here last year.
No, it's when you're making the schedule beginning of the year, you definitely mark that game. It just sucks how everything turned out.
I have it... Also a field goal, 23-20, except for I have the Steelers going ahead with the victory.
Really?
Yeah, Chargers aren't good, guys.
Chargers aren't good.
The Chargers aren't good.
The Chargers don't have a home field advantage because...
No, Steelers at Chargers.
Is that Chargers?
Yeah, that's the thing. The Chargers don't have a home field advantage.
No, Chargers... Okay, if you look at the Broncos game, 80% of that crowd were Denver Broncos fans.
That's how it is every single Chargers game.
You do not tell me that you can have a home field advantage if 80% of the fans are from Colorado.
The Chargers have no home field advantage.
Not at all. Yes, they're playing in L.A. No.
Well,
they're not home.
Playing in LA, they're playing in Carson, California.
I guess you're right. They're not the home team. That's why I have the Steelers going out on top, 23-20.
So, Brendan, do your back-to-back Thursday and Sunday night games.
All right. So, since we're talking about the Chargers, I'm going to do that one first. I'm going to have both teams just randomly go off offensively. What's a defense?
I can see it.
32-29, LAC.
Nice.
Now, the Patriots, I see, this is going to sound like I'm copying, but I came up with this randomly and happened to notice that Noah had the same exact score as me. 26-10 New England. I feel like there will be, they will score an offensive touchdown. I'm not going to be proud of it, but Daniel Jones has been seeming pretty legit, and also... Wait, they had what's his face back this week? Who's the receiver that...
Shepard?
No.
Golden Tate.
Golden Tate. How did he do?
I didn't hear his name much.
No,
I didn't hear his name much, so he didn't...
Yeah,
Let's put it this way. There are times I forgot he was on the field, so...
Yeah.
Fair. I think we're going to see him pop up at one point in time. That's going to be their one touchdown to kind of help comfort Mr. Mans.
The next game...
Gonna be a barn
The
burner.
next game... It's Lions coming into Lambeau Monday night. The majority think the Lions are going to beat the Packers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have the Packers winning.
I do too. I think the Packers come in. They come out
Ethan
confident.
doesn't, though. Ethan has the Lions winning.
I think the Packers come off that win against Dallas. Their defense is feeling great. The Lions' offense isn't spectacular. They're in Lambeau on a long week. They're going to kick Lions' ass. They're going to sack Matt Stafford 4 times. Aaron Rodgers is going to throw 2 touchdowns. Aaron Jones is going to get 3 more touchdowns. 35-18. It's an easy win for the Packers.
I think the Lions they're not going to win, but I think the Lions are going to keep it close. I think because they had the bye week this week, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So they had an extra week to prepare for Green Bay. That defense seems to be really, really good, and even against Kansas City, yeah, they lost, but their defense played good to keep them in it. And it was a defense that was battered, that didn't have their top 2. They didn't have Darius Slay, or they didn't have any of their top DBs. So I think that the defense is legit. I think an extra week's going to help. But I think Green Bay is just overall the better football team. Like you said, they're 24-17 Green Bay. I think that defense for Green Bay is going to show up again.
All right. I have it going a little bit differently. Yes, sir?
You should let me actually go.
Okay, go right ahead.
We saw the Colts game plan for the Chiefs, right? And it worked really well.
Yeah.
Because they have a good defense.
Yeah.
And a mediocre offense.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah.
Chiefs obviously great offense. Next to bad defense.
No,
even though
defense.
they've been mediocre, they're still bad.
They're
They're
really
bad on paper, mediocre in play, therefore they're bad.
No, if they're playing on the field.
The Lions
Yeah.
are going to come in
Yeah.
with a game plan. It's going to be executed very well.
Based off what?
What do you mean based off of what?
The only loss of the Packers was a straight show with the Eagles on Thursday night, and Rodgers almost won that game. The Lions' offense cannot shoot out with.
I think that game was a lot on Matt LaFleur.
If we get Devontae Adams back, there's no way the Lions' offense can keep up with the Packers.
Kerryon Johnson
Okay,
is
what
going
about
to
it?
run up against you guys.
We stuffed Zeke.
That's Zeke.
Zeke's better than Kerryon
Zeke
Johnson.
is better than Kerryon Johnson, but Kerryon Johnson has a completely different play style. But you guys let Dalvin Cook run up all against you.
We still won.
I mean, fair enough. So, like I was saying, Kerryon Johnson is going to be your Achilles heel. It is going to be, though, 24-23. I'm having this super close because I almost put it as a tie.
Alright. I got 27-21 Lions gonna upset the Green Bay Packers in Lambeau. I believe.
I mean,
And this Detroit team, it's not quite time for them to tank yet.
don't get me wrong. Like Detroit's gonna keep it close, but I don't know, man. We'll have to see.
Alright, next here we got my choice of the week, which is the Seattle Seahawks, the Cleveland Browns. It's going to be a great matchup. It's going to be a 32-28 barn burner, and the Seahawks are going to get the win.
So, Seattle Browns, I think Seattle is coming to this game feeling confident after they're playing good. I think the Browns are not. Well, it's not that they haven't been playing good. They're all over the place. I think that Seattle defense harasses Baker Mayfield. I think Clowney gets a couple sacks on Mayfield. The Seattle wins 21-9. The Seattle scraped out against the Rams, but the Rams are a much better team than the Browns.
Yeah. Russell Wilson is my pick for MVP so far. He's playing at an elite level. Seattle's going to kind of just feel themselves a little bit. They're going to catch a wounded Cleveland team. Not like no one's injured, but like they're just playing. They smell blood in the water. They have Cleveland on the rails. I think Seattle's going to come in. I think it's going to be competitive. I have 20-22 Seattle the victory.
Oh, it's me.
Oh, it is you.
The Seattle offense has looked really good, and it seems like It almost seems like Russell Wilson's pulling something out of nothing, like just something out of thin air. But I think they're going to continue their kind of hot streak of playing good. I think we are going to see 31-17 Seattle. I think the Browns are just going to be very deflated after this loss to the 49ers the way that they did. Obviously, when you only can score 3 points, you don't come back the next week very confident.
Right.
But I definitely think that we're going to see like it be really close for a little bit. Like I think the Browns are going to have a lead for a while. I think it's going to be 17-14 going into half. But then I think they're just going to be scoreless at half.
Nice. Alrighty. So next we got Ethan's Choice of the Week. You can see all of his picks, by the way, on our Instagram page as the weekend goes on. Into the games, he has the Eagle at the Vikings.
Eagles, obviously, with their receivers coming back, they're playing better. If you watch the game, the Green Bay game, I actually didn't watch. Who did play this last week? I didn't watch it.
The Eagles?
Oh, yeah, kill the Jets.
Yeah, kill the Jets.
They've done 2 games against the Packers and the Jets, obviously playing great offense. I think the Vikings offense is slowly crumbling apart around them. I know it's going to get worse, I think. It's honestly going to get worse. I think this Eagles team are going to be able to stuff Dalvin Cook. They're going to harass Kirk Cousins, and the Eagles are going to win 31-10.
Yeah, I think this is the game that, like, the straw that broke the camel's back. This is going to be it for, like, Stephon Diggs, Adam Thielen, where the frustration is going to be insurmountable. Kirk Cousins is going to play awful. I don't even know why I have Minnesota scoring 20 points. I think Philadelphia's defense is going to suffocate them. I think they're going to struggle. I think the Eagles are starting to find their stride, and it seems Philly just has Minnesota's number. And not only do they have their number, but the last 5 times they played, they have not been close football games.
No.
It's been 10+, 20+. Obviously, the debacle NFC Championship game. I think Philly's going to kill them. I'm actually going to change my score a little bit. I think it's going to be 34-13 Philadelphia with the win. And I think this is really where Stephon Diggs is I want out. Because I'm sick of playing with Kirk freaking Cousins.
So I had my score as something different, but then I was thinking and I changed it. 19-13 Eagles. Kirk Cousins can't have 2 good games back to back.
No, exactly.
It's just the way it is, and the Eagles are a far better team, I think, than the Giants right now. And so I think the Giants are going to get the win. I think Dalvin Cook is going to be the reason they get touchdowns to begin with.
Fair enough.
But that's all.
So you mean the Eagles are going to get the win?
Yeah.
You said the Giants.
Oh, well.
The Giants are going to come and play in the Eagles' place and get the win.
Yeah.
The Eagles are going to be up 30 points, so it's going to tag out. The Giants are going to come in.
We've done the workload for the rest. You just tag in the Giants and see if they can finish it off.
No, they'll just straight up borrow the Giants' offense. But anyway, I have this being a close game because I feel like we've seen some holes in Philly early on in the season. Although it seems like they might be making a move to get them fixed. I don't know if playing against the Vikings defense, which is pretty strong. Actually, where is it at? And it's also in US Bank Stadium. So they are going to play, a little bit better than if they were to play if they were in Philly. So I feel like it's going to be 32-26. There's going to be defensive scoring on both sides.
Did everyone make their predictions?
Yep.
Yeah.
All right.
Your game.
My game, which this is going to be game of the week. Texans.
I think it's definitely going to be game of the week.
At the Chiefs. This is just going to be such a good game. I can see it. There's going to be no defense played, and it's going to be awesome because we're going to see 2 of the best young quarterbacks, and I hope that this is the seeds being planted to what can be an amazing rivalry between Deshaun Watson and Patrick Mahomes, because I'd love to see that for the next 10-15 years. I think that Kansas City is going to win 38-32. I think they're going to bounce back at home. I just think these 2 QBs are going to show what they got, and I think it's going to come down to who has the ball last, and I'll predict it's Kansas City at home because they play well at home, and they haven't lost back-to-back games at home in, I looked this up, in 6 years, something like that. They're historically good at home, so I'll give Kansas City the bounce-back win.
See, I also have a really close game. I think Deshaun Watson Chiefs. They're some of the two of the best quarterbacks in the league right now, playing wise, stat wise. I think, like you said, it's going to come down to the Chiefs last second. I had the Chiefs winning 28-27. They pull Matt Mahomes to the last second touchdown. They just get over that hill. They win. Close game, though.
Touchdown ties it, and then the extra point ties it?
The touchdown ties it, extra point wins it. I think, honestly, though, if this game flips and the Texans win 28-27, I wouldn't be that surprised. I wouldn't be like, oh, wow. Like, I think it honestly could go either way.
How is that the news slot, Kane? That's so disappointing.
Right.
I don't know. Okay. So I have it being a really high-scoring game as well. 37-34. I have the Texans getting the win by a field goal.
I have it also being a 1-point game.
A field goal less a pop.
25-24 Chiefs. As much as I want to say Deshaun Watson and the Texans are going to get it done, I really don't think that's going to happen.
I want them to win.
Unless the Colts and the Texans decide to be buddies for like 2 seconds.
And just like Colts slide that game plan over to the Texans.
Yeah.
Try this.
I don't see it happening.
No, I want the Texans to win.
I do think the Texans do have a lot stronger of a defense, so I feel like it's not going to be like a blowout game by any means. But I just feel like Patrick Mahomes, if anybody's going to be able to pick it apart, it's going to be him. Minshew Mania and the Bridgewater Saints. So both of these teams, if this is a good storyline, both of them are the backups technically. You know, quarterbacks coming in with high hopes. Both are for basically the Super Bowl. Mm-hmm. Like, I'm pretty sure Jags fans actually thought that Nick Foles was going to lead them to the Super Bowl this year. Mm-hmm. But obviously, both of them got injured. So this is going to be a good game. Also because both teams are just playing really well right now. Mm-hmm. I have the game going to the Saints.
28-19.
28-19. It is a 9-point game. The Saints are going to have a touchdown lead. The Jags are going to try to drive down the field. They're going to get solid, but just out of field goal range, and then go for it on 4th down. Lose, turn it over. Saints are going to break off some big running games, and then just kick a field goal just to solidify that victory.
I think it's going to be a good game too, but I think the Saints are the better football team. I know Gardner Minshew's been playing really good, but Teddy Bridgewater can play just a little bit better. The Saints defense is going to shut them down. It's going to be 21-14 Saints. The Saints get one of the touchdowns defensively.
Yeah, probably the most hated man in America for saying this. I think this is the first game where Gardner Minshew is like bad.
Yeah.
I don't think he's going to have a really good game against New Orleans. I think Cam Jordan, that defense, is going to get to him. I think he's going to throw a couple interceptions. I think they'll keep it interesting just because I think Gardner Minshew will still, he'll still do some things that will keep the offense on the field, but, I just think that he's going to have a bad game. I think that defense is really going to kind of put Minshew kind of back in his play. I don't want to say back. I hate saying this. I love Gardner Minshew. I think he should be the guy in Jacksonville. But I just think New Orleans is the better football team. Teddy Bridgewater's confidence has to be at an all-time high right now. I think that the Saints will get a win 30-17.
All right, so I also have the Saints winning 29-18 due to that defense of the Saints. I think they're definitely one of the top defenses in the league, if not the best defense in the league. And I think Gardner Minshew, as good as he is, he can't overcome that, I don't think.
All right, my choice.
All right.
I picked...
Very interesting.
I looked at the games that were picked. I'm like, what's going to be the closest game and the highest scoring game? I picked the Panthers-Bucks.
That's a good
Obviously,
one.
Bucks put, 35 against the Rams. The Panthers have been putting up 30 points a game.
Yeah.
The Bucks put 65 up against the Rams.
No. Okay, actually, no. Timeout. The offense put up 45. The defense got a defensive touchdown. They put up 45 against LA.
I think the Panthers-Bucks are going to get together. It's a divisional match. It is going to be who can throw the ball farther and faster. Start your fantasy players, boys, because it's going to be 38-35.
I have a higher scoring game. Because when I saw you put that game, the first thing that came to my mind was, oh my God, Christian McCaffrey's going to have a good game. Jameis Winston's going to throw it all over to Chris Godwin, who's having an insane run right now.
Right.
And Mike Evans. I just picture no defense and just a high-scoring football game. I think it's going to be 42-37 Carolina. I think Carolina just has a little bit more momentum going their way right now, and I just don't think they're going to have any freaking answers for McCaffrey.
There's going to be no resistance.
There's going to be no one's going to have an answer for anything. I just think when I look at it, who's more likely, because I think it's going to come down to turnovers, who's going to turn the ball over the most, who's most likely to turn the ball over, and I'll take exactly, Jameis Winston. So 42-37. Carolina with what will probably be one of the games of the week that no one will talk about.
I know. I'm going to watch the game if I can. I'm kind of excited.
Yeah, I'm really excited for that. Like I said, when you put that down, I instantly thought high scoring. It's going to be so much fun.
So you guys are both for Carolina.
Yeah.
See, I think you guys are forgetting they played each other already, though.
On Thursday. Yeah.
I
was going to say on Thursday night, but that should be advantage Carolina. But also. Circumstances are different now for both teams. Tampa's offense is starting to get figured out. Obviously, Cam Newton is not in there.
And that's why I don't have the Bucs winning by 2 touchdowns like they did before.
Yeah.
But I think Bruce Arians, quarterback whisperer, has done some insane measures when it comes to famous Jameis. And I think he's still going to be able to... I think he's actually specifically going to edge out the touchdown that wins it. The game-winning touchdown. There's going to be a missed extra point at some point in time from the Bucs side, so it's going to be 20-24 going into the last minute 58, so that it's past the 2-minute warning, specifically past the 2-minute warning. They have 1 timeout left. They go down, drive down, score, and get the extra point, 27-24.
I think it's kind of weird that the Bucs and Panthers have played twice in the first 6 weeks. First off,
yeah.
And obviously the Bucs won 20-14 the first game.
Interesting fact: the last 3 weeks, the Titans and the Texans play each other.
Really?
Yep.
Another interesting thing with this game, this is an 8:30 a.m. game, because I'm pretty sure this is going to be in London.
Mm-hmm, that's what has my score.
Yep, so it's going to be them in London, so neither are going to have a home field advantage, 8:30 in the morning.
Yep, so that's why I have it a little bit lower than the rest of you guys. I have it 21-18.
So I was going to say, I honestly didn't know it was in London, because that does play a bit of a factor when you have to travel, get used to different time zones and stuff. Just the natural human stuff that no one talks about.
I just think the Panthers are going to have a little bit better of a game. And so I have it 21-18 because of Christian McCaffrey. But it's a lot lower than your guys' score because it's in London. And they're not going to be ready for it. Although, the Bears game was in London as well this week.
Yeah.
Not as early, but that was still a good game.
It was an interesting game for the Bears.
Hey, you think about it.
All right. So that's our weekly pick'em. I'm gonna win, but otherwise you can see all of our scores we posted on Instagram.
When is London just going to get their own NFL team?
They should never get an NFL team.
They won't.
I don't think they will.
It'll never succeed.
Let's give London and Mexico both an NFL
it'll
team.
not
Well, they're trying to get the Jaguars. We're trying to move over there.
But
there's nowhere they are now. They got AEW. They're staying in the U.S.
Well, exactly. But, no, I mean, and I don't want to take too much time of it, but I don't think NFL will ever work in London. I mean, and that's a rant for a different time, but I just don't think it would work.
So, let's move to our final segment.
Kind of like
wrap up
hockey
every
in
single
Atlanta.
week.
Yeah.
Like we wrap up every single week.
Everyone.
Mount Rushmore.
Mount Rushmore.
This week we're talking. Obviously, the Twins was a disappointment for Twins fans. It was like not the most crazy out of thing we've ever seen. So I'm sure most Twins fans secretly deep down knew it was going to happen. No one's agreeing with me. But our Mount Rushmore is going to be our biggest playoff disappointments of all time. I'm going to go start introing us in. I'm going to start with the 2011 Packers. 15-1. The Packers balled out Aaron Rodgers' first MVP. Aaron Rodgers' first MVP season. Pass rate over the season of 122. He had 2 6-touchdown games. Aaron Rodgers balled out. The team played great. And then they played the Giants. And then they Tom Brady themselves and lost. My second one is the one that other people put on, and I'm going to leave it to them. I know Noah put on his. He's a lot more knowledgeable about hockey. I just know it was a big deal. It was the Tampa Bay Lightning this last year. Obviously, it was an NHL record, right, for wins? And then they come in and they lose immediately. Mm-hmm. Obviously, for Tampa Bay Lightning fans, Tampa Bay is not great in the sports world. They don't have a lot going for them all the time. So
the Lightning in the past, 7 years have been really solid.
They've been one of the most consistent teams in the league.
They're kind of like the new age dynasty.
But obviously it didn't work for them. My third one is the 2018 Saints. And obviously the Minneapolis Miracle was a great luck play by Minneapolis. It ended up in their favor. But in Minneapolis then, they beat the Saints there on that call. Then they went next week and they got killed by the Eagles. I think the Saints, I rather would have watched Saints-Eagles instead of Eagles-Vikings that game.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Is that everything for you?
No, I got one more.
Okay.
I'll just make sure you guys pay attention.
No, of course not. I'm watching AEW.
You know what I said? I said 2018 Saints. My third.
Yeah, I heard that.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
My I know I'm rehashing the Packers, but I'm bringing up the 2014 season. Obviously,
What happened?
I think that Seattle Packers game is going to be infamous as just one of those games where it was frustrating. Not going to lie.
That game could have changed Aaron Rodgers' legacy.
Yeah, it really could. If the Packers would have won that game against the Seahawks, they would have put the Patriots in the Super Bowl, wouldn't they have?
It would have.
Who'd the Seahawks then go on to play in this Super Bowl?
Seattle
was that the Broncos? Yeah.
That was the Broncos.
So it would have been. It would if the
Packers would have been a completely different game.
No, the year they
2014. It was.
Oh, that was.
No, it was New England.
Yeah.
So we would have got Rodgers Brady finally.
Rodgers Brady Super Bowl.
Wow,
imagine that.
Stupid Seattle.
I mean, I feel like Tom Brady should have won, but
I don't think so.
I don't know.
Rodgers in his 2011 season and his 2014 season put up a pass rating of over 120 for the whole season. That's the reason why he has his all-time career pass rating is the highest, because he's statistically such an amazing quarterback, and he has been for such a long time.
Are you done?
Yeah, that was my last one.
I'll go next. Alright, so I got the 1998 Minnesota Vikings, and really just any Minnesota Vikings team that loses their playoff hopes to a field goal, just like Blair Walsh.
Cough foreshadowing.
Yeah. So that was my first one. The second one is 2007 NBA Playoffs. So, and there's the Golden State Warriors were playing the Dallas Mavericks. The Dallas Mavericks had Dirk Nowitzki with an MVP season, and Golden State Warrior went in there and got the win. The Golden State Warriors weren't the Golden State Warriors that you know and love today, or hate today.
It wasn't no Kevin Durant, Klay Thompson.
Steph Curry, guys.
But
it's not on the team anymore, man.
Oh yeah.
But the Mavs definitely should have won, and they didn't. And Golden State got the win. It was really heartbreaking for Dallas fans.
Yeah, because Dallas kind of has been awful since then.
Yeah,
they're going to come back.
They got their title. Dallas got their title in. Or sorry, what year was that? You said 2007.
7.
Well, because they got an NBA title in 2011.
Oh, good for them.
But then they've been bad since then. But
they're coming back.
Are they?
They're coming back.
Kristaps and
Luka. That's going to be a killer matchup.
How do you stop that?
You don't.
Alright, so next I have the Broncos losing the Super Bowl to the Seahawks. It was a sad matchup. It was very sad.
What was it?
The Broncos losing to the Seahawks in the Super Bowl. 46-8.
It was bad.
Chad Kroger.
I still think that it was rigged. I think Peyton Manning was paid or something. Peyton Manning's not that.
He was just old Peyton Manning.
No, this was number one defense or number one offense. Peyton Manning. It was number one offense versus number one defense, and defense wins championships. But and then my last one is also another Broncos getting beat one. It's actually the Ravens. The Broncos should have won the football game, right? It was when the Ravens went and won the Super Bowl.
Hey.
Joe Flacco. MVP. Good times.
Did Joe Flacco win MVP that year?
I think Super Bowl MVP.
Oh, okay.
Not regular.
No, not regular season.
He's Joe Flacco. No offense.
Okay, so so Joe Flacco, it was down, right? It was like a minute or so left. Joe Flacco threw a 70-yard touchdown.
Who did win MVP this season?
I don't know.
Jesus.
Took a tie. Went into overtime.
What year is it?
It was Tom Brady. He was saying because it was Tom Brady.
Fuck you.
I know exactly.
I don't actually know.
Took a tie.
What was it?
Would have been 2012.
2012. Oh.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was Tom Brady. I thought you were saying because it.
Oh, probably.
No, I actually wasn't trying to be a butt.
Anyways.
Wait, 2012? That was AP's year.
It was. Because
Cool.
2011 was Ron.
Well,
Nice.
technically it was 20.
So he took they went into overtime.
No,
Broncos had possession. Weren't able to score. Ravens took it down the field. Weren't able to score. Ravens took it back down the field
Yep,
later.
Adrian Peterson.
Scored a field goal. Got the win. Won the Super Bowl.
Mhm.
But at least they won the Super Bowl. I mean, they could have lost.
That's true.
So, I mean, might as well if you're going to go all the way. That's mine.
Yeah. All right. The first couple are going to look very similar to Ben's. I also had the 2011 Packers because they went 15-1. Aaron Rodgers had one of the best seasons a quarterback could ever have, and they lost to the Giants right away.
Yeah.
And if I remember right, it was a double-digit game too.
37-20.
37-20. I mean, as a Packer fan, it's one of those things where it just sticks out like, dang, like that should have been another year.
Should have been the other way. Should have been 37-20 Packers.
Exactly. Because I remember watching this, like that playoffs, and I'm just like, it's not going to matter because Green Bay is going to go all the way and probably win it again. No, and they just laid an egg, and obviously New York ended up winning the Super Bowl, and that was the big momentum shifter. And then the 2019 Tampa Bay Lightning, and Ben, you were saying like, I'll let Noah do the talking. It's a big deal. Like, you don't watch hockey that much, and you even know about it because it's that big of a deal. Because you are one of the best historically great NHL teams ever, and you get swept by the last seed Blue Jackets. That is insane. I know. I don't care what. To be fair, because
the Columbus Blue Jackets did make moves right before the trade deadline to get Matt Duchene, and Matt Duchene was a big reason why the Lightning lost.
I do not care. The Tampa Bay Lightning were good all year and did not need to make moves because they had the most wins in NHL history, and they got swept. The next thing I have is I have the 2001 Seattle Mariners. This kind of goes along with Tampa. They won 116 games, which is a Major League Baseball record, and get swept by the Yankees in the first round. So they just laid a massive egg when they were projected to win the World Series. And then this last one was kind of a default because I couldn't think of really another big one. But this last World Cup, the German football team, they were one of the most heavily favored teams in World Cup history. I think their odds to win it was I don't even remember. I think it was something 6-2, which at the time was the highest it's been in the last 3 World Cups.
It's only 3-1.
Or it was something insane. They were easily the heavy favorites, but the most heavy favorite last 3 World Cups, and they only win 1 game, and they don't even make it to the knockout stage, which basically means you play different teams. That you're drawn into groups. You have to play the teams in your group, and if you are in top 2 in your standings, then you advance the actual tournament. Mm-hmm. And Germany didn't even qualify for the actual tournament.
You said what team ended up beating them?
They ended up losing to what would have been South Korea and Mexico. They lost to those 2 teams. They had a close one against Sweden, but you have to win it you have to finish in a certain spot in order to advance. Yeah. And they laid an egg, and people lost a lot of money because of it because they were heavily favored. So
I have the undefeated Patriots losing to the Giants due to helmet catch. Cry.
Go Eli Manning.
Then I also have the 2017 Blackhawks. They were the number 1 in the Central Division. They were the second. They were the 3rd best team in the league that year, and they lost to the 8th seed Predators, who, although they swept the Predators swept the Blackhawks, similar to Tampa Bay, which Tampa Bay is also on my list. After a correction, because I actually kind of just forgot about it, because I was on the Blue Jackets hype last year. Anywho's, granted, the Preds did go on to play in the Stanley Cup Finals, not win it, but to play in the Stanley Cup Finals that year. Then I almost put 2019, because this would technically be 2019 for baseball, right? Yes. Would technically be the 2019 season, because it's going to be over before 2020.
Yeah.
Okay. I was going to put 2019 Twins, but you're right. That's not that. That's not that surprising.
Most of the film.
But I did put, however, probably the biggest upset in which, so many people threatened one individual's life, so much to the point that kids had to write him letters to cheer him up. And that is the Blair Walsh missed field goal against the Seahawks. Literally, so many people were worried that there was about to be an assassination in Minnesota because of it.
If he would have showed his face, he would have gotten beaten to death in the streets. Yeah, that's not even an exaggeration.
No.
Yeah, which is sad.
But elementary school kids didn't write him letters saying, it's okay, we know that sometimes you just have a bad day and that they hope that your bad days aren't bad anymore.
See, the thing, too, about it is, it was like a 23-yarder, I think.
No, it was a chip shot.
That's like high school kids make 23 yards.
No, it was actually, the field goal was actually less than a PAT at the time. And, that was, an actual thing.
And then, like I said, I have the Tampa Bay Lightning. They clinched the highest record in the NHL 3 weeks before the season was over.
Yeah.
They could have lost out and still had a higher record than anybody else. They were just historical, and Steve Stamkos and the gang is all just very, very, very talented, and they're gonna probably be right back up in the ranks this next year. But so they had all of that going for them, and then get swept by the Blue Jackets, which had to fight for their spot. Granted, they had Matt Duchene. They did just trade for Matt Duchene, which led them to the next round, and that's about it. But
that's the thing too. It's not like they ended up losing the Stanley Cup champions. They lost to a team that just got booted in the next round. At least if you're gonna lose to the champion.
It went to a Game 6.
I know, but did they win? No.
And then that team ended up going to a Game 7 with the team that won.
But again, did they win? No.
Wow.
That's sad. I think that's wow.
That was our Mount Rushmore for the week.
How long are we going into this week?
Thanks for listening to the SighSquad podcast. Make sure you follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter at SighSquadPod, as well as subscribe to our YouTube channel. We just threw up our old podcasts on there as well. I'm Duncan.
I'm Ben.
I'm Noah.
Well, we'll see you next week on the SighSquadPod. Thanks for listening, guys.